All right, just give me a moment. Okay, I guess this is good. See the light over there. Good evening. It's November 25th at 7:02 a.m. And welcome to the first and possibly only Thanksgiving live stream, Thanksgiving Lynchian live stream. Gobble, 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 gobble. How's everyone doing? I don't expect anyone to show up because it's Thanksgiving and you should be with your families. But my plans fell through. A family member got sick and they didn't want me to catch anything. So, yeah, my plans fell through. So I'm just hanging out. And I thought, what better way than to go live on YouTube and say hello for a little bit? And here I am. So you can see I did a new little setup. Got my cinch right here. Got the Black Lodge collage right over here. Pretty cool. From the Z to A release. The Z to A box sets. I got to do something with these, and why not just decorate? This isn't the final version. I know you can see a light over here. That wasn't the intention to begin with, but what can you do? What can you do? I need the red, and just to kind of. I like red, as you can tell. But anyways, I hope everyone is having a fantastic Thanksgiving. I hope you ate lots of good turkey and cherry pie and pumpkin pie. Had a good feast. And I hope Bob didn't interrupt your feast or ruin your Thanksgiving, because I know he does that. He's like Santa Claus, except he comes around Thanksgiving and terrorizes like that. That's instead of ho ho ho, it's so I imagine someone just walking into that without any context. That's my best Bob impression. It's like they had someone pop in and pop out. I don't know. I don't trust these chat numbers that YouTube does. I mean, they just took away the dislike button today. I just noticed you no longer see a number of dislikes, which is kind of sad, because I on my other channel, George Reviews, I have a review for Godzilla versus Kong, and I trashed that film because it's a garbage movie. And I got a lot more dislikes than likes, and I was like, oh, I was actually able to trigger some Godzilla versus Kong fanboys, and I'm proud of those dislikes. I think it's a well-made video. I've rewatched it, and I stand by my statements. God damn it, you got to stand by. I didn't private the video. We're like, oh no, it's got a lot of dislikes. So yeah. Anyways, welcome. No, it's probably just going to be me talking to a camera by myself. But hey, if you're here, say something in the chat, and we can have a conversation, or not, or I'll just keep babbling on and on and on and on and on. But yes, it's Thanksgiving, one of my favorite holidays. Don't like the history of it for obvious reasons, but it is a good time to get together, family and friends, and eat and stuff your face till you go into a food coma. So that's what I like about it and stuff. But anyways, I recently, and when I say recently, I mean technically today, this morning, I decided to start a new rewatch of Twin Peaks. I was a little burnt out on Twin Peaks for a while. I was feeling kind of like I've seen these so many times. I don't want to get frustrated and bored with it. So I took like a good year and a half from not watching it. I would watch certain episodes here and there, especially from the return. But I haven't really touched my From Z to A box set. It's not a great box set. I mean, it's just like a repackage. So for anyone who doesn't own it and you own the original entire mystery box set, and the limited series Twin Peaks box set that came out shortly after Return aired. It's really just the same. It does come with an extra disc, which is really cool. I don't know if it was really worth spending $100+ on a new box set just to get a new little disc. But it does kind of show more behind the scenes with David Lynch as he's directing each episode of The Return, or each part. I thought it was really interesting. They don't show a lot from each part, but they show just enough. I was hoping, because I've heard rumors and murmurings that Balthazar, I think I'm saying that right, was on set during the when they didn't shoot it last, but he was there during the part 18 shoot of the ending scene. And I'm wondering if he was originally supposed to be within that scene, if he would have appeared, and that would have set up Laura's scream as well. I like how they did it. Obviously, I think it's a great ending. I think it's a great ending to Twin Peaks personally. That's just me. And I've just been reflecting on The Return in that summer of 2017. It was just a fun summer for everyone, including me. And I kind of got first exposed to the community of Twin Peaks, which is a really great thing. Even though there's some toxicity in it, I think overall I've met some really cool people, and I consider them friends. I don't really have much of a social life where I live in Austin, Texas, but what I do have is a lot of cool online people who like David Lynch and Twin Peaks, and I enjoy talking to them, going to their YouTube channels, and interacting with them on Twitter and Facebook, even though those places are the devil. There's a few bright spots in social media, and that's kind of what's been keeping me on social media, is just those interactions with good people. So yeah. But yes, I've been reflecting on Return and reflecting on Twin Peaks as a whole. And so it's been a good year or so since I watched the series, like from beginning to end. And actually, I don't think I've consecutively watched the series from beginning to end. I started to with my parents, or my mom and my stepdad. I was introducing them to Twin Peaks. And so they watched the original series. We watched the original series, and we got to the first 2 episodes of The Return, but then they went on a big Europe trip, and then we just forgot about it. So that's unfortunate. I really want them to finish The Return, even though I'm sure they'll be very confused and bewildered and be like, "Oh," not to dish on my folks or anything. But I hope to get them back into it very soon. I'm going to be gifting them my old Blu-ray sets of The Entire Mystery and The Return, just because I have this from Z to A box set. It's really the same set, and it fits slimmer on my shelf. I just have the 2 little fold-out parts. If you've seen some of my recent videos, if you take a look at my shelf, not here, but in another room, I have those on my shelf instead of the box, because that box is shit. That box is not good. It's peeling. It's peeling off the cover or material or whatever, and it's just not a good set. It's just, I'll say. I mean, I love the bonus disc, and I really want more. I want some deleted scenes, and I want to see the original script Kyle read too. I want to see what was cut, what was reworked. I want to, because I feel that they had a lot of hurdles and a limited budget with Showtime, and I know Lynch famously, hated those restrictions, and he didn't get a chance to really dream. Even though we got a lot in The Return, I'm very grateful, thankful for that whole 18 hours or 18 parts. Even the stuff that wasn't as great, and definitely stuff that didn't have a lot of payoff, I still enjoyed. It's definitely a lot more mystery and more answers. But I think we did get a lot of payoff, especially with Cooper and the doppelganger, and that story was continued just perfectly, in my opinion, and concluded great. and things like that. But I've been reflecting on it. I've been rewatching Cameron, Obnoxious and Anonymous. One more time, Obnoxious and Anonymous's initial reaction videos. I work a night job, so it's an overnight cleaning job. So I listen to a lot of podcasts when I'm at work, and I was like, oh, I'm feeling nostalgic. I want to listen to those old initial reactions with Cameron and his various guests that he had on. Of course, that's when I first found out on Obnoxious Anonymous on his part 8 initial reaction, which was just, those are the perfect after show experiences, and they really blew up in a lot of ways, even though he's definitely, I would say Obnoxious Anonymous is a very underrated YouTube channel because he has a lot of great information. Yes, it's mostly just live streams, but the content is just really solid. If you like Twin Peaks or if you like David Lynch and you like the history of film, I think Obnoxious Anonymous is a really, really great YouTube channel. And it's sad that, he's run into so many like hooplas and trolls and things like that. Of course, I sounded off on that on another video. It's my David Lynch dreams, It's just like a wind and you feel it growing and growing. I do my best. I feel like if I plug my house, I can sound more like David Lynch if I pinch my nose in a very sarcastic, comedic way. But I mean, I'm just making fun. I love the guy. I watch his weather reports every day. Well, mostly. But back to Twin Peaks. It's just I'm trying to watch it with new eyes and new ideas and new interpretations. And just watching the pilot episode, I also watched. It's the first episode. I consider it the second episode because I think the pilot is a part of season 1. Even the season 2 premiere is like 90 minutes or 2 hours or whatever, just like the pilot. And that's the first episode of season 2. So I feel that it counts, but does it? I don't know. But anyways, I watched those episodes. I never really dug into that set because it was a repackage. I was hoping for new menus, maybe corrections, because I know they left out some stuff from the gold box set. And I was hoping that maybe they would include some of that. Or, I know there's never going to be like a commentary by Lynch, or, I know there are commentaries on the DVD sets before the gold box sets, which I never got. I never was able to get, and those are kind of rare to find, I hear. So it would have been nice to have more, but it's really the same set. I love the menus of the entire mystery. I think they're great. I think the whole packaging is wonderful, even if it doesn't include some of the stuff that's from prior sets. I think it's so wonderful set. So with that in mind, I just want to kind of go into it with new eyes, and I feel like I got a new, really surreal experience with it. Not even just knowing what happens throughout Fire Walk with Me and The Return, but just kind of, trying to experience it in the way people experienced it back in 1990, and really getting a feel for the tone and the reaction and the brilliance of it. It's just truly, truly amazing to me. I'm having a great time rewatching it. I noticed a few different things I should have noticed on my initial rewatches. I noticed more the notes that James left for Ed to give to Donna, Roadhouse at 9:30. I guess I never really paid attention to that, which I don't know why. But there are things, especially in I think the first episode, they do the Bookhouse Boys thing with the finger in the nose. I noticed that on a few rewatches back. So there are always like little things hidden, and just getting the trying to experience the minute details versus just experiencing the big picture, or experiencing both at the same time. I think it's, I think it's really interesting. Ugh, stretch. I think it's really interesting, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. Yeah. I'm really looking forward to exploring the sets. I'm probably going to be marathoning the show tonight. Not going to do live streams. I don't want copyright, and I just want to sit down and experience it. I don't have to talk. And usually, no one comes in on these live streams. They kind of watch them later. Which, hey, welcome. Thanks for tuning in and watching. If you are, I appreciate you. I really do. Just from me to you. But yeah, and just reflecting back on my trip to Twin Peaks, yes, I actually, back in 2019, as a birthday present, my mom got me a package with the Twin Peaks tour, which I don't know is this, I don't know if it's still going on, but it's by this guy, David. I won't give his full name, but he's a really cool guy, really knowledgeable about Twin Peaks. He's lived in the area in Seattle, and we traveled up to Snoqualmie and North Bend, and to a lot of the locations. Not all the locations, like we didn't go to the beachfront where Laura's body was found. I would really love to go back and experience that. But just being in the woods, going past Jackrabbit's Palace and just going through the trail, the woods and the trees, and it was drizzling out, not too hard. The rain wasn't too hard. It was just perfect atmosphere, and we would just drive around and visit each location and where all locations used to be. I think they tore down the high school, what they used for the Twin Peaks High School, which is unfortunate, but we did drive past that. And I just kind of thought to myself, I wonder how much, especially in the woods, how much influence that brought to the show by Lynchian Frost by just exploring those locations. Because obviously, just location scouting, and for pre-shooting. And I'm just wondering, as the show evolved and moved on, how many how much influence did that have? Like, is it some mystical things? I just being there, not just because it was in the show, but just being in those woods was just so magical and so mystical. It just brought a very unique feeling. Just being there, and I was so glad to have David as a guide, as an expert. I also ran into, what's his name? He's been on Obnoxious Anonymous, and he has a website. I'm going to search for his name real quick. Yes. So, so when I was there, I got David introduced me to Stephen Miller, who I've seen on Cameron's live streams before. I met him briefly, but he was a really cool guy. He was really nice. He was just out there, exploring, going to the riverbank where Teresa Banks was found. Saw that too. I did shoot some footage. I've been kind of debating whether I want to put it all together because I didn't have a tripod. I just have my Canon camera. It was a 60D, which broke last year or this year. I've since upgraded to a Blackmagic, and also have a Sony ZV-1, which I film most of my videos on. Anyways, I saw some footage. It's a little bit shaky. It's just took short glimpses. I might do maybe a montage thing. I've been debating back and forth since 2019. And then Take the Ring made the 3 Days in Twin Peaks, which is has so much production value, and it's just wow, why should I even try? Because Take the Ring's the best, and when I say best, not me, and production value and content, they're just so great. Jeremiah knows what he's doing, and I'd really like to pick his brain on how he gets such like crisp footage, what he does to the footage for his Twin Peaks videos, because there's amazing. Definitely another underrated YouTube channel, in my opinion. I think they have like maybe 10 or 20,000 subscribers. They should be closer to 1 million. If people watch Twin Perfect's video million times, which is a very censored video, he blurs out images, he censors himself, which I don't agree with. I know he's trying to, wants it monetized on YouTube, but I mean, isn't that what Patreon's for? I have issues with the Twin Perfect video. I think it's overall a very well made video, well researched. It's very much worth checking out at least once. I've revisited different bits and pieces from it, but I don't really agree with his thesis or his main idea that it's all just, I mean, it's all commentary on how TV rots your brain, and there's some truth to that for sure. I agree. But to say that the whole, and spoilers for his video if you haven't seen it, just watch it, give it the time of day. It's worth watching, I would say, but you don't have to agree with everything he says. So watching it, I don't agree that they know that they're in a television series. It's this whole meta thing that, and I know there's some, who is the dreamer things about it, but I don't think that the whole thing is just a show within a show that they know. It's not, I don't think Twin Peaks is a show that knows it's a TV show. I think there's actual reality in it. I don't like the theory that when they go and see into the end of part 18, I'm rambling along. I know I'm just fucking rambling, but that's just my style, man. That the whole thing is like they enter an alternate dimension as our world because the woman who opens the door at the Palmer house is the actual owner, but her name is not Alice Tremont. Why use Alice Tremont? Why use that name? And why bring up Chalfonts and Tremonts in the very last minutes of the series? I think there's a lot of ways you can poke holes into that theory. I mean, you can theorize, and there are a lot of great theories out there. I was recently rewatched the Blog Ladies, another great underrated YouTube channel, the Blog Ladies Judy Dream theory, which I don't like 100% agree with, but it is very interesting, and I'm glad I watched it. But I mean, I kind of believe that it was all at the end, it's all part of the plan, even if Cooper or Richard was confused, that things were different, that he didn't know, it's kind of twisted identity, but I really feel it was really part of the fireman's plan to get Laura / Carrie Page there to defeat Judy or Jaude, which, it is in our house now, which means the Palmer house. The electricity goes out at the end, and doing so, I think that whole dimension is just utterly destroyed by her scream, because we don't know what happens after that. It fades out. And if something does happen, if they do have a continuation, I've been back and forth on this. I really love the ending to The Return. I really like the ending to season 2. I mean, I really feel that within itself, I mean, it was more of a cliffhanger, but the cycle of Twin Peaks returned to darkness. Bob was kind of running, doing his thing, being kind of superior and bringing darkness into the world of Twin Peaks until Cooper came along, and then he defeated Cooper. So in a way, it's, what am I trying to say? In a way, it kind of went full circle, as in the way The Return brought the entire series full circle. If you look at it in a certain way, if you can interpret it in a certain way. And I also think David Lynch wanted to bring back the show, bring back the mystery back into Twin Peaks. He got forced to reveal the killer. He did not want to do that. But hey, I mean, I love those episodes. I think those episodes are great. But it's, he wanted to leave it a mystery. So I feel like revisiting the return where it's a chance was a chance. I mean, I'm not sure how Mark Frost feels about it, but I know that they wanted it, and they wanted the killing of Laura Palmer to be a jumping off point for more different mysteries and storylines and things like that. And obviously, it kind of worked and it kind of didn't, as they revealed the killer. I mean, they did explore other mysteries. They explored the Project Blue Book angle, Major Briggs, Wyndham Earl, and Annie, and I really like those parts of the storylines. But then you have all these other characters that you don't know what to do with. I mean, they're all going their wacky, zany subplots, and I don't really mind most of them. I actually don't mind James and Evelyn. I think there's some actually really cool moments within those episodes. And I really feel that was right for James' character to kind of go off and, try to come to terms with Maddie's death and Laura's death, and him feeling somewhat responsible. I really feel like it was needed, for him to kind of go off and go through some more trauma, I guess. But I think, yeah, I mean, I think most of it works in a way. It's not as good as the build up in the first half of season 2, from the first episode to episode 9. The only thing I don't like is little Nicky. I think that whole thing was annoying. I do like Dick Tremaine, and I thought he was a wonderful addition, and it would have been cool to see him in return, along with other characters as well. But, yeah, so Little Nicky, I didn't dig, especially that little circle that comes up by Andy's head and has Little Nicky in the devil suits. It's just like, how long are you going to go with this, guys? And the Pine Weasel was kind of annoying, and even the Miss Twin Peaks pageant was kind of goofy in a way, even though that's a really good episode, the penultimate episode, so the season 2 finale, which, if you follow this channel, is my all-time favorite Twin Peaks episode. I have a video, a Twin Peaks Reflections video up that goes over that, and I'd really recommend you check it out before YouTube blocks it, before CBS strikes it down, because they struck down my other Twin Peaks Reflections video on the pilot. I finally got it up. I re-edited it. I didn't use too many clips, but it did fall under fair use because I was commenting on each scene I was showing, and I was trying to edit it as like a behind the scenes kind of documentary commentary kind of a thing, and they struck it down. It's like, God, CBS, you really love your fans. You really love Twin Peaks fans, don't you? So whatever. It's blocked. It got some views, and I hope those who got to watch it enjoyed it. I do want to do Twin Peaks Reflections again, but I might change it up. I might do less clips. I might reenact the scenes myself. Like, okay, well, I'm just going to reenact the scene, Showtime or CBS, and there's something you can do about it, because it falls under parody, and parodies don't have to be funny. So, anyways, but yeah, it's fine. I still am proud of that video, and I'm, we're not a big channel, but we are growing somewhat, and I feel really good about that. And it looks like we have a few people watching. If you're here, say something in the chat, just say hello. You have a question, you have something you want me to talk about. I'm just going to be blabbling on for maybe another 10 or so minutes, unless you guys have some stuff to say. So it's Thanksgiving, and I got a pumpkin pie in the fridge with my name on it. A cream cheese pumpkin pie. I should have got a cherry pie, since I'm going to be binging some more Twin Peaks after I do this. But I just wanted to come on here and just speak my mind since I've been watching those Obnoxious Anonymous's initial reaction videos on the return, which is really fun. Just really fun going back to that. He has a playlist. Um, if you just search like Obnoxious Anonymous, instant reaction Twin Peaks, you can find a playlist. I would highly recommend you check it out if you're feeling nostalgic and revisiting all those times and talking about the episodes. It's got me just really jazzed to rewatch Twin Peaks. I think it's been long enough, and I'm having a great time rewatching it. Yeah. But this channel isn't all about Twin Peaks. I do want to have a focus on Twin Peaks closer to the 5th anniversary of the return, but I also want to do on Mulholland Drive. If you notice, I changed the profile channel image to Diane on the phone, the classic iconic shot of Naomi Watts on the phone. And yeah, this channel is going to have a heavy focus on Mulholland Drive, but I'll also be doing some Twin Peaks and other David Lynch stuff in between. Lisa says, hello and happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, Lisa. Thank you for stopping by. You got something you want to talk about? Question? Lay it on me. Lay it on me. Lay it on me, please. Thought that's okay, too. Oh, what else? What else? What else? So let's talk about part 18. And watching Cameron's initial reaction, they were really kind of shocked. I mean, we were all shocked. I went through a mini panic when I watched part 18. After it was all over, I didn't know what was real. I was in tears after part 17 because it was so emotional and so beautiful. I didn't watch the original series when it was airing. I was too young, but I did pick it up in 2007. CBS was streaming most of the episodes. I don't know why they weren't streaming all the episodes on one of their websites. So that's how I first experienced Twin Peaks. I didn't see the pilot till the DVD set. They didn't have the pilot on there, so they didn't have a few episodes. They had they had everything but the pilot in season 1, and they had 2 or 3 episodes that they didn't have in season 2. But anyways, so I mean, Twin Peaks is always kind of, when I first got into David Lynch from age 19 onward, and I saw Blue Velvet, Mulholland Drive, Lost Highway, I became very Lynchian. That was my first Lynchian experience, so to say. And then I was ready for Twin Peaks. I've heard about Twin Peaks. I grew up on the X-Files, which is really the first 5 seasons of the X-Files really took a lot of cues from Twin Peaks in terms of the mystery angle. It was more standalone-ish, more procedural, but had an overarching story too, which kind of ran into issues late in the later seasons of the X-Files. But it captured the tone of Twin Peaks, the kind of foggy, kind of dreary kind of look. But they kind of went in their own little direction. And I mean, X-Files is a good show. It's not as good as Twin Peaks, because even when Twin Peaks went off the rails, it's not as bad as when the X-Files goes off the rails, because oh boy, I could talk about the X-Files all day and night. Overall, I feel disappointed by the X-Files and Chris Carter, the creator. After the reboot, he just needs to stop. I'm glad Gillian Anderson decided to no longer, that was it for her. So kudos to her. But anyways, back to the topic at hand. Gotta stop rambling off topic. I need to stay focused. But anyways, so part 18, I'm emotional wreck after part 17. Part 18 is very slow. It's very methodical. I'm not sure where it's going. At this point, I'm just a mess, but in a good way. And I'm just seeing where it's going to go. I don't know what's really happening. Some things made me uncomfortable, like the Cooper, Diane, or Richard and Linda sex scene. I think it's a good scene. And in the right context, I understand it. But I can tell that it would throw a lot of people off. And it's a very uncomfortable scene, you know. So that happened, and that's when a lot of the confusion for me started. And we're going to get to my theory, my interpretation. It's not like I can say it's my own. It's just stuff that I've read, and I like to read theories and opinions, and then kind of hold them up to scrutiny and hold them up, kind of badger them a bit, and then kind of conjure up what works, what I feel kind of fits, and the narrative. And there is a narrative. There is a narrative in the return. It is just a very unconventional and experimental structure of a narrative. So we're leading up to the point of the end. The Diane Cooper sex scene was weird enough. It was odd, but it was haunting, and it was good. I like it. And not in like a, not to titilize the audience sort of way, but in a way where like something is really wrong here. Not like as a criticism, not like, oh, it should be like this. And Lynch should know what I want, my expectations and what I want to see, nothing like that. It's just like something is seriously wrong because of what Cooper did. And I love consequences. I love characters, especially protagonists, in a situation where they have to deal with their consequences. And it's always a happy outcome or happy ending. I don't think Twin Peaks should have a happy ending. I don't think it should have a dour, sad, everyone dies ending, but I feel what worked with the ending really worked for me personally. That's just me. Anywho, so where were we? So then after that, we get the whole Richard and Linda revelation, which, I thought Richard was going to be Richard Horn and Linda was going to be some character that would come along the way. There's a mention of a Linda. I don't know if that's just coincidental or that was supposed to be a red herring. I don't know if Lynch really thought that first scene in part one was to open the entire thing. I mean, I haven't read the script, so I don't know. I would love to read the script. Hey, if anyone knows where I can get my hands on actual legitimate scripts online, let me know. Hit me up on YouTube. Hit me up on Facebook or Twitter, Georgetown Ray, Georgetown with the E at the end, RAY. Please hit me up. I really want to. I want to know. I want to know more. I want to see the differences. I want to see if there's more of Red, because there are a few things that didn't pay off or add up, and I think Red was one of those ones I would have liked to see explored. We'll get to that later. So Richard and Linda, Cooper and Diane, what's going on here? It's just completely bewildering, but interesting. Does it mean that Cooper was ever Cooper? He was Richard along? That's another theory I don't agree with. What is this culminating to? But as you remember, earlier in the episode, Cooper said, if we cross over, it might all be different. Is that different as there'll be different people? Diane saw herself at the motel. Is that Diane or is that Linda? Diane and Linda, doppelgangers. Cooper killed his doppelganger. He's burnt to a crisp in the Black Lodge. Does that mean both sides of Cooper have forged together in a way where he is something different? Because this isn't exactly Cooper. We saw Cooper in part 16, part 17, and his goodwill, charm, and all that was definitely present in his personality. But there's something a little bit colder, but it's not like Mr. C hardcore darkness kind of coldness in his personality. There's definitely a balance in there. All right, looks like Lisa wrote a little comment. Let's pause. She says, I fell in love with Twin Peaks when I saw the very first episode back in 1990. Some of my favorite TV series of all time, so I love watching anything about Twin Peaks. It still fascinates me. Yes, it fascinates me too, and that's why I really want to, I mean, Twin Peaks has been talked to death, and people have their own, thoughts and their own videos, and I never really got to. I wish I started this channel during the airing of The Return, because I finally had the guts to, like, after it happened. But over the years, I was kind of introduced that film commentary and film criticism and reviews was the thing on YouTube. I had no idea until like 2015, and so that kind of blew my mind. And just revisiting the series, you always find something new about it. But I think there is somewhat of a narrative. There are definitely things that are interpretable. It's not just nonsense. It's not just nonsense on the screen. Even if Inland Empire, that's not just nonsense. There is something there. I haven't figured out Inland Empire. I'm not ready to start figuring out Inland Empire. Okay, but before I go too rambly out there, I'm trying to stay grounded with this. So back to part 18. When we cross, it could all be different. Now Cooper is different. Through all this, he has changed. He is beyond human. He is a large entity now. He opened up the curtains like this, and where he reunited with Diane. Maybe, well, for whatever reason, she was supposed to go with him to save Laura. Whether you agree with it or not, whether you feel like it should have been a different character or she shouldn't have been involved at all, she herself was trapped in the lodge or protected by Nido, which is, that's just kind of what I'm getting from. So Linda's gone. She wrote a note because I don't think she could go through with him anymore after Mr. C assaulted her, and she still sees some of that within him. And so she cannot go on anymore with Cooper. She has to go. So she goes. And she knows herself as Linda, but he knows himself as Cooper. And he's obviously confused. He walks out, brand new hotel, different car. He goes to Judy's, which is an obvious, we're in her playground now. We're in her dimension. So things are changing, she's using time as a weapon to kind of change and flicker and go back and forth and tricking Cooper. But what she underestimates is Laura Palmer. Just in this reality, she's Carrie Page. I think the whole scene in Judy's with the cowboys, the rednecks with the guns, I think it was to show Cooper's, what's the word I'm looking for? Pristine aggression. Pristine aggression towards them. And showing that he has an edge. Cooper, he definitely had an edge, when in season 2, when he was trying to get information out of Philip Gerard or Mike, he pushed him. And so there's definitely an edge of him it's always been there, but this is, animated to 120% that we've never seen before. And so that's why, I understand, that's why people are baffled or still baffled by that. However, I think it's important to the story the theme of time and nostalgia and deconstructing what we know what the show was. Even throughout the return, it was constantly deconstructing itself from the original series, from Fire Walk with Me, into something new. Because Twin Peaks is a continuing story, it's also an evolving story. It evolves in tone. But there's just so much that keeps us from, not knowing it, but just it's keeps us at a certain distance. And this is something Cameron said, rewatching some of those initial reactions, that Twin Peaks is a show that kind of holds you from a distance or at arm's length. It never, you see it from an outside perspective. I mean, even Cooper in the original series, you could argue that he was the outside perspective going into this town. He was the guy who was, experiencing Twin Peaks for the first time. And so we were experiencing Twin Peaks for the first time. And so Jason says, hey, didn't set up for the stream. Thank you, Jason. Jason, you're awesome, man. I see your comments. I'm glad you still follow me and this channel. I really appreciate it. You're really, really cool guy. Very, vital to the community that I guess I'm in. I don't know. I don't really know anymore, but okay. Focus. Back to the conversation of part 18. And Lisa says, we'll go back to it because I want to talk to you guys too. Lisa says, I love the return, but not as much as seasons 1 and 2 or even Fire Walk with Me. I was missing out on Twin Peaks and the feel of it, even if Lynchian wanted to get nostalgic. Well, I think it's the anti-nostalgia, because that was at a time where nostalgia was peaking. That's when he made it. It was nostalgia is peaking like electricity, and you got to have a win to cancel it out. I'm just kidding. Sorry, I'm just humoring myself. But okay, so Lynch wanted to make, and Frost, because I think Frost is a big part of this, and I don't know Mark Frost as well as Lynch as a writer, but I feel like he is on this too, especially his comments about the ending being relative to Orpheus and Eurydice, that story where he goes to the underworld to get her, but he cannot look at her, and when he turns and looks at her, she screams and dies or fades or something. That's something like that. There's a scene in the film, A Portrait of a Lady on Fire, that really talks about it too. That's a really great film. Kind of surreal in different ways too. I would highly recommend that film. It's a French film, so there's subtitles, but it's really good. But anyways, and we'll get into that too. So we were at, where were we? Okay. So Sean Cooper has an edge by by beating up the cowboys, shooting them, putting the guns in the fryer. Like, he is cold and calculated. He's on a mission. Nothing is going to stop him. But I can kind of see maybe Jaldea is having some influence on him. But he's constantly finding that good and evil within himself. He was, in the original series, he mastered it. Like, he was able to put his darkness at bay, but now, because the doppelganger is dead, where did that darkness go? It merges within Cooper or Richard. Now we're in Judy's reality and a new timeline. There are probably millions of timelines that they go through. So, going through that, we see Cooper has an edge, but he's there to get the address or the coordinates to Carrie Page, aka Laura Palmer. And he recognizes her as Laura Palmer. So Cooper is still there. He's not Richard. He's still Cooper. But in this, it's kind of a distraction to get him. It's a distraction to get him to lose his way, to lose his path. But all he knows is that he needs to find Laura Palmer and he needs to take her home. Now, in part 17, home wasn't the Palmer house, home was the White Lodge, because they're going to that same path near Jackrabbit's Palace where the vortex. We saw a shot of that in part 17. So that's where they were supposed to go. That is Laura's home, is in the White Lodge. But now Richard thinks it's the Palmer house in Twin Peaks. And that's kind of a frightening thing. Like, was Twin Peaks now? That's a meta commentary on the show itself in part 18 and within the world of Twin Peaks, because it still is a world. It's not a show about characters knowing that they're in a TV show. Sorry, Twin Perfect, but it's not. I don't agree. Okay. Sorry. So they travel. Really good sequences, Cooper is paranoid, he's looking out for Jowday at every turn because he's in her playground. So anything could happen. They could be in a car accident, they could be directed to drive off a bridge or something, there's just a lot of threats going on. But Jowday is, as we see, and again, just to bring this up, a lot to bring up. I know I'm kind of rambling, but I'm getting to. I'm dissecting this is what I'm doing. So I had to add in another layer of something. Sarah Palmer was the girl in part 8. I've always believed that. I'm always going to believe that. I know it's Mark Frost. It's confirmed in Mark Frost's it's confirmed in Mark Frost's book, The Final Dossier. But even when I first saw part 8, I said, you know what? That could be Leland and Sarah. Maybe it's not Leland, but it's definitely Sarah. It has to be. Maybe the timeline doesn't really match up for age. And maybe, I know that girl had a really dark complexion, but Grace Zabriskie has somewhat of a dark complexion. I mean, I have a dark complexion too. So I'm convinced. You can't tell me otherwise that the girl in part 8 is Sarah Palmer. And the frog moth that went in her slowly is from Jowday, from Judy. And so she's always been, from that point on, in Sarah Palmer. That could kind of not explain, but go over the fact that Sarah has seen visions. She sees visions of Bob. She sees the white horse. She sees a lot of different things. And of course, Leland was drugging her so Bob could have his way with Laura. It's really fucked up. But she's like a conduit for Jowday, if not Jowday herself, the entity of Jowday. I think Jowday is an extremely dark negative force, which makes me believe that maybe they didn't defeat the negative force, but just part of it, the part that was in Twin Peaks. Maybe. We'll get to that. So they're driving. It's very tense. They stop at a gas station. This isn't Big Ed's gas farm. This is just a Valero gas station, which that shot kind of derailed the tension a little bit. But they arrive. And who answers the door? Not Sarah. Not Leland. But another one we've never seen before is Mary Reber, the owner of the house. She's playing a character, though. This isn't, they went into our world. They went to real Twin Peaks, and it's the real world. And, the owner of the house opens the door. Yeah, but her name isn't Mary. Her name is Alice Tremont. Tremonts and Chalfonts. That's not just a misdirection. That's there for a reason. Lynch and Frost, you have to understand, wrote and worked on this for years. I think as far back as 2012. For years. They wrote this. They designed it. They worked on it. They didn't even announce it till 2014. So obviously they went to Showtime maybe 2013, 2014, and and they did their old contracts. And there's a little hiccup with Lynch, and he dropped out for a minute, then he came back. But this is all premeditated. This is all meticulously put in. There's no like, oh, let's just say Tremonts and Chalfonts. Yeah, we'll just do this at the. I mean, that's kind of why I want to see the original script because I want to know how far they strayed away from that, from comments from Kyle, since he was, I believe, the only actor who read the entire thing. But so they arrive, and the Tremonts and Chalfonts kind of disrupt time, as we see in Fire Walk with Me. They're there to bring in Laura into the world of the lodges, the White Lodge or the Black Lodge or whatever. But Cooper doesn't know this. Cooper doesn't remember certain things, or Richard doesn't remember certain things. Maybe the more and more he goes along, the more and more he's forgetting and becoming Richard. Maybe that scene in the diner was a hint that he is, as time is changing and jumping around, he himself is becoming more and more like Richard and less like Dale Cooper. Something to think about. And so we get to the last scene, last part of the scene. It's very confusing, and I would have been disappointed in this if they had just rolled the credits as they're leaving. They just get in the car and drive away, and it fades out. That would be very disappointing. I would be like, no, that was a mistake. But no, they didn't, because this is again meticulously put together by Lynch and Frost. So there are reasons. There has to be reasons. Even it's more intuitive, maybe it's more emotional, but there are reasons. And you can agree with those reasons or disagree with those reasons. You can not like it. That's totally fine. I mean, just don't be a dick about it. Uh, there are detractors of the return still out there. I've heard people say, oh, it's just like the Emperor's New Clothes. It's just, the people who like it are just phony fans. They're just phony. They don't really get it. But there are things that work within this. So we get to the point. We get Cooper walking around. And, if they did the electricity noise, the Judy noise that we heard from the first scene in the first part, that would have been a dead giveaway. So they couldn't make it too obvious for us. They couldn't make it too obvious. So, but Cooper realizes something. We don't see it, but he looks at something. And he's wondering, what year is this? Getting chills, getting chills. It's building up. Something is building up. The whole series is building up to this moment in a way. Cooper looks at the ground. Laura, or Carrie Page, looks at the house. And this is kind of mentioned in Cameron's finale stream by member named Chaz, who said he saw, not that he was the only one to notice this, but he saw Laura's eyes kind of roll up in a way where like it was reversed. So maybe that in itself is a little sign, a very nuanced, subtle sign that time is changing again. That it's going back and forth within time, and it's a loop or something. But anyways, Laura looks at the house. She hears Sarah. And she screams. The lights go out. We fade to black. And we go to credits of Lauren Cooper in the chair. of Cooper with a very devastated look on his face. Now, what happened? Well, in my mind, and this is stuff I've read, stuff I've looked at, and this is what I feel is the most logical, I'll be surface level interpretation. I kind of take Lynch on face value a lot. So this could be, something that might seem like face value, but I think it still really works. The main goal was to destroy this extreme negative force. Two birds with one stone is the Palmer. The stone is the Palmer house. The two birds are defeating Jowday and returning Laura. Because Laura is the key to defeating Jowday. Because she was designed to, from part 8 in the gold orb. She was designed to defeat this extreme negative force. And since time is in a loop, and within the lodges, time is looping around within itself. See what I mean? So everything is happening simultaneously through and through. And so it's all happening at the same time. Because there's something wrong within the time. That's how Jowday, and look, I'm just figuring this out as I'm talking about it, as you can tell. Okay, so Jowday is causing this. And there needs to be a balance, there needs to be a structure. It is in our house now. It cannot all be said aloud now. Remember, Richard and Linda, 430, two birds, one stone. The ultimate goal from the firemen was to get Laura home. They thought saving her would bring a balance to that, but it didn't. She was whisked away by Jowday. We hear the sounds before she's whisked away. Same screams from the Black Lodge. So it's happening simultaneously at the same time. So it's happening. So that didn't work. So now there's a different mission. But that kind of contradicts with, so okay, instead of his mission now, instead of bringing her to the White Lodge, it's now one last effort to destroy Jowday. So Cooper's mission is to find Laura, and bring her home. Which he does. But he doesn't know anything else. He's slowly forgetting. Time is running out, literally. Laura is like a bomb that sets off. Her scream sets off, destroys electricity. It is gone. Electricity is no longer there. Jowday is defeated. But at what cost? Are Laura and Cooper now demised? Are they gone? Or was this another failure? We could all speculate from the end of time. I think that's great. But that's kind of what I feel what happened. The whole thing was set up, the darkness of Jowday, because that's mentioned in part 17. And there's a reason. There's a reason for it. I hope I'm making sense here, but let's recap. The ultimate goal is to beat Jowday. Cooper knew this. He needs to get two birds with one stone. One was finding Laura or saving Laura. and the other was defeating this evil, this darkness, this dark entity that was causing all this insanity within Twin Peaks, within the world, maybe from the atom bomb. But there are consequences. You can't go back and expect Laura to be saved, because even though her life was spared, she's obviously lived a life of darkness and abuse. You can tell Carrie Page is still a victim in a way, that there's a dead man in her house, She's still a woman in trouble, as Lynn says of Inland Empire. She's still a woman in trouble. She cannot escape the cycle of trauma. You can repress it, but it all comes out ultimately. I think that's the big statement of the show: is you cannot escape trauma. Trauma will find you. And it found Laura. And I feel, and if you, I did this in my Shadow tribute video at the end. I edited together the last scene with Laura reliving. Yeah, I use shots from like Fire Walk with Me, because that's my interpretation of the ending. It's like it's all coming back to her. And she's using that pain, that trauma, as sort of a triumph against Judy or Jaude, eliminating her, taking the whole thing. When I say the whole thing, I mean the beginning of the atomic bomb to the defeat of Jaude. Lights go out. She's gone. She's destroyed. But now they're still lost. Is Cooper having to still repeat this over and over till he gets it right? Is this a Groundhog's Day sort of situation? I think it could be. Yes, the point is to destroy Jaude, but the point is to also find Laura and save her, and she is not saved. So I think with these different time links, further and further, Cooper is going to either continue to mess up and with imperfect courage, or succeed in killing two birds with one stone, taking two birds with one stone, defeating Judy and getting Laura back home, which we see one of those realized. But Laura, they still need to find their way back to the White Lodge, I guess. I don't know. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to explain this. It sounds so cool in my head, but maybe I'm not getting it across as well as I would like to. That's on me. But I feel that ultimately it was a success and a failure, because they're still trapped together wherever they are, either in the Black Lodge, if that last shot is to indicate that they're still in the Black Lodge, or if that's just a stylistic choice. But they're still together. It's a bittersweet ending. Jaude is defeated, but the costs of them losing themselves. And maybe Cooper will get as many chances to correct this, to where he can get his cake and eat it too, where they're both safe in the White Lodge together and Jaude is defeated. And this brings me to the point of the opening scene in part one. I believe that opening scene, this is just me, maybe other people, I don't know. I believe the opening scene actually takes place after everything, but we're also in a time loop, so it's continuing over and over again. So it's within this time loop. Cooper's going around in this circle of this timeline. Whether it was destroyed at the end or if it wasn't, I feel like this is continuously happening. So maybe it's in like a lot of people have said, it's an infinity loop. infinity loop of him trying to live and go by justice and to do right. And maybe he'll succeed, maybe he won't. But his overall spirit is to keep fighting in honor of truth and justice. Jaude might be destroyed, or a part of Jaude might be destroyed. Who knows? We can only speculate. If we get more Twin Peaks that goes into this, I think that'd be great. But I just feel most people want more Twin Peaks just to have like a happier ending, or to have it all wrapped up in a little bow. I mean, I wouldn't want an hour of exposition explaining everything. So this is who Red was, and this is who this was, and this is who that was, and that was actually this. And also, I mean, I enjoy the mystery. I'm still, to me, how I feel about the ending of it being kind of a mission, but also reuniting Laura with her trauma. There's so mystery to it, where we may never know what happens after that fade out, after the electricity goes out. What's next? I don't know. But I mean, and I've been, I don't want to say outspoken on this, but I've been one of those people who doesn't think the Wisteria Unrecorded Night project, if it's still happening even, is part of Twin Peaks, is because it's a Netflix project. If it was on CBS All Access, then maybe it's like, okay, CBS owns Twin Peaks. Twin Peaks is no longer on Netflix. Logically, why would you put your brand of Twin Peaks onto something where people can't also enjoy the original series, or even The Return, or Fire Walk with Me? Um, that with reasons for that and other reasons, I feel like it's just like its own thing. Stretch. Ugh. So yeah, I'm not convinced, but I'm willing to be convinced. I'm going to be playing devil's advocate until we get more information, but I don't think the project is dead, from recent comments from Peter Deming saying it's just seems like it's on pause. I'm paraphrasing. It seems like it's on pause for now, but because of the pandemic, and a lot of productions are, you know, gone to the wayside because of the pandemic. I mean, I don't know if it's hard to keep up with all the news of all the COVID news. I don't know if things are getting better. I know productions are happening, but maybe Lynch just wants to be 100%, 100% safe about everything. So whether this is its own thing or continuation, I feel like he could still be conjuring up ideas for Twin Peaks, and maybe after Wisteria or Unrecorded Night, he'll go back to that world if he wants. But to me, I feel like Twin Peaks has really gone full circle. Maybe not in the way that people expected or wanted, but it did go full circle. It's about time and how time kind of destroys everything. And I think it's about time and legacy, because there's definitely a legacy to Twin Peaks. Or I don't know if legacy is the right word, but I think it was all about time and respecting the past, respecting the legacy, but being true to it. I think they were true to it. This is Twin Peaks 25 years later. I mean, this is something Twin Perfect said in his video, which I kind of agree with, but he still thinks it's a show within a show. That's his take. My take is, yes, it is Twin Peaks 25 years later, so it's not going to be the same. It's going to be completely different. And to be fair, you can go to each part. There are scenes in Twin Peaks in every part of this, I think. I'll go down the list. Part 1. We see the insurance salesman go to the Twin Peaks Sheriff's Office. We see the log lady. We see the sheriff's station. Part 2, we see Hawk walking in the woods, getting called from the log lady. A lot of it takes place in the sheriff's station. Part 3, the sheriff's station with the chocolate bunny. Is it about the bunny? Also, part 4, we get performances at the Roadhouse. I know it's kind of a cheap way, but I mean, Twin Peaks is in this. It's just not in it a lot. There are a lot of different things going on. Part 5, we get Double R Diner, we get the Roadhouse, we get a lot. Part 6, we get to Double R Diner and the Roadhouse. And we get to Sheriff Station. Part 7. See, part 7. What happens in part 7? They go get Diane, Terry Cooper, Dougie gets attacked by Ike the Spike. We get a scene in the sheriff's station with Hawk and Sheriff Truman. Sheriff Truman goes on Skype to talk to Doc Hayward. We get the information about Audrey. I was thinking, wait, maybe not. Kind of a cheap way of saying, oh, we were in Twin Peaks. We were at the Roadhouse most of the time. We were still there. Great performance by 9 Inch Nails, too. Part 9, we get to the Briggs residence with Bobby and his mother, forget her name, and Sheriff Truman and Hawk, and they get the thing out of the chair. And we also go to the sheriff's station. Part 10, we have a scene between Hawk and the log lady near the end. They're in Twin Peaks. Part 10 wasn't one of my favorites, so I'm probably part 10. It opens with Richard Horn attacking what's her face? Forgot her name. Not Evelyn, something else. You spend time in Twin Peaks. Part 11, we get more in the sheriff's station between Hawk and Sheriff Truman and the log lady. So that is Twin Peaks. Part 12. Let's see, part 12. We get Sarah Palmer in the grocery store. We get Hawk visiting Sarah Palmer. So part 12, we're in Twin Peaks. Part 13. What story is that, Charlie? It comes in the, let's see. We got the arm wrestling match between Cooper. We get the Audrey scene, but we don't know if that is really in Twin Peaks or it's in her head. We don't know where Audrey is. My guess is a mental institution. That's kind of where I'm standing by. I don't think she's like in a lodge. I just think that she is agoraphobic and she is in special care, let's say. Part 13, we go to Double R Diner. We see Big Ed. We go to his gas farm at the end. So, yeah, Twin Peaks there. Part 14, we go to Jack Rabbit's Palace in the woods. We get some scenes in the sheriff's station. We get Roadhouse performance. Part 15, we get this infamous scene with the log lady passing away and her last conversation with Hawk. A lot of this is repetitive, I will say. Sure, there was probably more to explore in Twin Peaks, but I mean, a lot of the show took place in the sheriff's station, took place at the Double R, took place at the Roadhouse, and the woods. So, you know, it happens. Now, this part 16 is one that I'm not so sure if we go to Twin Peaks in part 16. We're on our way to Twin Peaks. Cooper's awakened. Let's see here. Okay, so we have maybe one part that doesn't feature Twin Peaks, but let's track it. Well, yes and no, because we do get the Roadhouse performance with Audrey's dance. Well, that does take place in Twin Peaks, but it's also very highly implied that it's in her head. So, yes, in a way, we do go to Twin Peaks. I might be forgetting a scene in part 16. It's been a while since I've watched all these, so I'm not the perfect encyclopedia. But part 16, Audrey in the Roadhouse. That's Twin Peaks. Part 17, we're a lot in Twin Peaks at the sheriff's station, the whole thing with Bob and all that. And in the woods where Cooper rescues Laura. So part 17, get Twin Peaks. Now part 18, the final part. Of course, we get Twin Peaks at the end. And Cooper drives Laura, or Richard drives Carrie Page drives Carrie Page to Twin Peaks. We go to the Palmer house. So yes, that proves that in each part, we go to Twin Peaks in each hour. It's just not a lot of Twin Peaks, but you put together, it's something. I wonder what would it look like if you edited all together, all the Twin Peaks scenes, and just see how long that would be, how that would work. I mean, a lot of it, Twin Peaks has become such a universe that it's just universal. It takes place. We spend a lot of time in Vegas. We don't spend a lot of time in New York, but what we do spend is really great. And we spend a lot of time in Buckhorn, South Dakota, as well as other areas. And we also spend a lot of time in the Black Lodge, which is great. And the White Lodge too, and in New Mexico, part 8. And in the prison, which I think is that in Buckhorn, South Dakota. I forgot where the prison takes place, but I can ramble on and on about what the return means. Those are kind of my thoughts. I'll definitely be doing some kind of thesis video on the return within itself and throughout the whole series too. I definitely want to do one that's focusing on the return. These are just me blabbing out my ideas of what I think it means. Since I've just been revisiting those initial reaction Obnoxious and Anonymous videos, I wanted to talk about it because it's still a conversation. There's still a lot to talk about within the entire series. The original show, Fire Walk with Me, and The Return, or season 3. I like to call it The Return, or season 25. Technically, we didn't see seasons 3 through 24, because the show keeps us at a distance. We try to reach no more. And that's what speculating is for. I did not mean for that to rhyme, but it did. So, yeah. I don't want to lose my voice talking, and I'm getting kind of hungry. So I'm going to call it a night unless anyone in the chat has something to say before I go. Anybody? Bueller? I'll let me stay on for another 5 minutes and see if anyone wants to say anything. No worries. I don't really do these live streams that often, but I'd like to do more. I do appreciate Lisa and Jason for sounding off in the chat. I don't know if anything I said made a load of sense. As Coco says, it was all load of horse pucky. But those are kind of my thoughts on it all. Ruminating within me within the past almost 5 years. Thinking about that last scene, that last episode. I gotta say, even though the last episode is weird, I can't say there's a scene that I don't like. I like the opening of the Black Lodge. I like Cooper leaving the Black Lodge. I like him reuniting with Diane. I like them crossing over. I like the motel scenes. I like him. Ooh, that was weird. Well, light still on? Yeah, okay. Just got a word there. I like the Judy Steiner scene. I like him going to Carrie Page and the whole driving scene. So yeah, I mean, I really like Part 18. I think it really works well. But with that, yeah, no one's saying anything. I think I'm just gonna end the stream. We've been here over an hour, which I was originally planning this to go for 30 minutes. Just to say hi. But yeah, I don't know. But appreciate anyone who's watching this. I'm just gonna leave this up. Why not? It was fun. I had a fun time, but I want to eat some pie and watch some Twin Peaks and stuff my face because I haven't stuffed my face at all today, and that's long overdue. So, anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in. Thank you, Lisa, for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Maybe Obnoxious Thomas will go live later. Maybe I'll be looking out for that. Usually, sometimes when I live stream, he live streams like, oh God, I'm not going to get anyone watching me because I kind of want to watch him, you know. So he says that Queen of Hearts will be up soon. I was kind of expecting for the first part of Queen of Hearts, I should say, because he's cutting it into sections, into 5 acts. So he says that it could be up. I was kind of not expecting, but you know, kind of saying maybe we'll have it up for Thanksgiving. That would be a really cool treat. Even though I've seen it, I do really want to watch it again and do a live reaction or a reaction video to it, to all the parts. Even though I've seen this first part, I have a lot to say about it that I can talk about once it gets released. I've been sitting on it. I just want to talk about what happens because I think it's really good, guys. I think it's really good. I mean, yeah, it's low budget. You can call it a fan film, you can call it whatever. I'm not too familiar with fan films, so but to me, I just feel like it's something special. At the end of the day, it's something special. Jamie's here. Happy Thanksgiving, Jamie. Jamie, if you're listening to this, if you ever want to do a live stream with me, either on your channel or my channel, let me know. We could talk Queen of Hearts once it comes out, or we could just shoot the shit. I don't know. I think that would be fun to collaborate or something. I'm just throwing that out there. About to end this stream though. Anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in. I hope anything I said about the end of Twin Peaks made some sense or made you think about it, want to revisit it. Like I said, I'm rewatching the series. I just started it again. Awesome. You should plan something for sure. Yes. Well, I hope so. Just let me know. My schedule's kind of crazy, but I'm open anytime during my free time. That'd be fun. But anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in. I keep trying to end this, and almost an hour and a half, which is a new record. I haven't live streams for hours since I did that Twin Peaks watch along with all the episodes, which I privated because who wants to rewatch that, honestly? But anyways, guys, take care. Be good to each other. Be nice. Be nice. And I hope, honestly, I hope you all have a great Thanksgiving. And even though my plans fell through and I'm just hanging out with myself and you guys who are watching, I appreciate it. So, anyways, take care. Bye bye. Meanwhile, or is it this way?